At last, the unimaginable has occurred, and the internet is now totally unusable. A video leak that has gone viral in all media is proof that Rashida discovered her husband Kirk Frost having an affair with Jasmine. The biggest controversy of the year has emerged from what fans initially believed to be simply another rumor. Reports state that Rashida, who had supported Kirk through multiple accusations of adultery, was appalled when tapes seen to reveal Kirk and Jasmine together in a precarious situation, breaking down in hitherto undiscovered ways. Even the Love and Hip Hop cameras were motionless. However, insiders claim that this off-camera treachery is 10 times worse than anything ever seen on television. Fans are demanding explanations. Kirk's empire may never fully recover, and Rashida is crushed. The unrest started amicably after this final humiliation. An unexpected evening for the Atlanta faithful. Rashida's world was ready to collapse in the most embarrassing way possible, while the city was teeming with nightlife and musical events. She has been the pillar of her marriage, standing up for Kirk Frost when it seemed like everything was against him. To keep her family together, Rashida had side babies and secret romances. However, this time was unique as it wasn't just another rumor or some dubious screenshots from direct messages. The whole footage was made public. On the internet, there is a reported video of Kirk Frost and Jasmine in bed. Jasmine is the same lady who nearly ruined Rashida's marriage years ago. Before going viral on Twitter, the video first surfaced in a private gossip discussion. Some initially believed it to be a fake, a doppelganger, or a deft edit intended to spark controversy. But fans couldn't help but notice the similarities as screenshots began to circulate. Kirk's tattoos and the identical chain were on the guy in the shaky footage. He even walked in a similar manner. The woman's face was barely hidden by the covers when she looked at the camera, and in an instant it became clear that it was Jasmine. Rashida's smile had frozen the internet by the time she was informed. Millions of people have already watched the film. She was taken by surprise, according to those close to her. The movie and the message were purportedly handed to her by one of her closest friends. "You must see this, dear sis, before things become worse." And her heart fell as she hit the play button. The brief film, perhaps 15 seconds long, was sufficient to break her heart. Leaning on each other in bed, Kirk and Jasmine are smiling as if nothing were wrong. Rashida is said to have suddenly started crying. She put her phone down and continued, "He does this to me again after everything I've forgiven him for." There had never been such a deep betrayal, friends remark. There was more to this than conjecture. It was tangible evidence. Wasn't something she could avoid, hide from the media, or shield her brand from. It was embarrassing, public, and indisputable. Fans went crazy on the internet in a matter of hours. On Instagram, memes ridiculed Kirk as the most stubborn cheater in hip-hop history, and hashtags like Meech Kirk Katra Seda and Niche Jasmine wins began to trend on all platforms once more. Insiders claimed that after years of dedication, Rashida deserved more despite the internet's laughter, speculation, and heated debate didn't just watch helplessly. Neighbors allegedly saw her yelling Kirk's name and beating on the door as she drove directly to one of Kirk's rental homes in the middle of the night and demanded answers. According to one witness, the altercation escalated when Kirk eventually showed there because Rashida seemed prepared to demolish the house brick by brick if he didn't leave. Kirk was reportedly taken aback when Rashida flung the phone at him. He attempted to deny everything, saying it was old or phony recording, and insisted on knowing if the video was authentic. Rashida said, "Not believing it, Kirk, don't you dare lie to me. After years of defending you and putting my identity, job, and family at danger for you, you do this to her once more." For years, Rashida has been plagued by the shadow of Jasmine, the scandal-causing side girl who drove her into marriage. Her involvement in all of this exacerbated the problem. It seemed as though history was being horribly repeated when Rashida was shown grinning in a leaked video. However, the narrative continued. Their relationship was permanently damaged when Rashida was made to raise a kid she had not wanted. When Rashida went live on Instagram following the altercation, viewers said that she was upset, her voice was trembling, and her makeup was smudged. She didn't officially confirm the video, but there were plenty of subtle remarks. When someone constantly offers you a chance and then spits in your face, you have to ask yourself if love is truly worth it. Sometimes it's simply too hard to ignore truth. Additionally, I'm sick of taking the initiative and showing excessive forgiveness to others. Rumors circulated that Rashida was at last finished. Before the event abruptly ended, thousands of people captured it on screens, and the internet stoked the flames once more. That she wouldn't let Kirk talk his way out of it this time, and that getting a divorce might be the next course of action. But Kirk said nothing, and his silence screamed louder than any words, denial, or attempt to exert control. Jasmine ignited the embers by sharing a picture of herself on social media with the mysterious remark, "You bothered." Supporters interpreted this as an admission of guilt and evidence that he was unable to explain his actions. Have always been and will remain so. She didn't mention names, but everyone knew exactly who she was referring to. Atlanta was ablaze with rumors by the end of the evening. According to industry sources, this disagreement might destroy Kirk's enterprises, damage Rashida's reputation, and split the entire ensemble of love and hip-hop. Rashida actually saw him in bed with Jasmine once again if this video was authentic. In addition to being personal, the consequences would be severe, public, and career-ending. And just when supporters believed Messia was over for the evening, another startling revelation was made. A lengthier version of the film was allegedly in circulation, according to several persons. They were supposedly disturbed by a video that had not yet been made public and purportedly featured Rashida. Hysteria erupted on the internet. Rashida would never see a worse video if the longer version emerged. Fans were certain of one thing. The truth was only beginning to come to light. Atlanta awoke to nothing but commotion the morning following the tragedy. It began as a 15-second video leak and has since grown into one of the largest scandals. Hip-hop and love enthusiasts hadn't seen each other in years. Every YouTube channel, blog, and gossip page highlighted Jasmine, Kirk, and Rashida extensively. The headline said, "Kirk busted again, triumphs in the second round," after Rashida made Jasmine seem terrible. However, the reality behind the headlines was much greater than what the spectators were witnessing. Insiders claim that Kirk and Rashida's altercation that evening didn't last the entire time. It turned into something even more terrible, according to reports. According to someone close to Rashida, Kirk intensified his attempts and forcefully confronted his denial after she began seeking answers. He maintained that the video was a ruse to deceive him. Why, therefore, does she own the identical sheets that we both bought? Why is your chain? Kirk allegedly froze on the nightstand as Rashida pressed further, and the stillness that followed told it all. It dawned on Rashida that she was dealing with more than a rumor. Her worst fear was being repeated by her. Additionally, the treachery took a new shape this time. Rashida had been caught off guard years before when Jasmine initially showed up and Kirk's secret child was revealed. It was embarrassing, indeed. Nonetheless, she had persuaded herself to forgive, to preserve her family, and to uphold her reputation as a powerful black entrepreneur. Nonetheless, this treachery was blatantly evident and captured on tape. The worst part was that the same woman was involved. It had nothing to do with a secret child or a whispered affair. Jasmine was allegedly causing extra trouble by hiding in the shadows, according to Rashida close friends. She threw her wedding ring across the room and sobbed, "You chose her over me again," at Kirk. She shared an odd mirror selfie on Instagram with the comment, "Some things never change," just hours after the controversy began. "Are you aware of what you have done to our family and to me?" NBOTHERE double quotes. Fans quickly made the connection. They thought Jasmine was subtly confirming the video's legitimacy. The post went viral and garnered thousands of responses. However, the big surprise didn't happen right away. While some applauded her audacity, others denounced her for ruining the marriage of another woman. Insiders claim that Jasmine did much more than simply release that brief film, and that the 15-second clip that went viral was only the start of a larger recording. Rashida's life was collapsing because of rumors that Kirk and Jasmine shared a bed during the full version. Years ago, Rashida ought to have fled. How many times can one woman be humiliated before she understands her worth? Was one of the posts that went viral. Some fans urged her to leave, claiming that this episode was the final straw, while others started analyzing every aspect of her relationship with Kirk, pointing to past love and hip-hop videos in which she stood by him in spite of his adultery. However, Rashida was in decline and reportedly refused to participate in online conversations with her admirers. She sobbed uncontrollably, ate, and even told close pals that she didn't know how to act in public. "Everyone's laughing at me," she allegedly remarked over the phone. "Loyalty and strength have been the cornerstones of my entire existence, and now I feel like the world's biggest idiot." As the issue started to impact her enterprises, the pressure increased. Journalists set up camp, and her companies were inundated with inquiries from customers. No, the corporation wants to be associated with the Kirk-Frost adultery issue due to the widely circulated video evidence. Her brand partnerships outside of her stores began to deteriorate. Kirk, who reportedly contacted the producers of Love and Hip Hop and pleaded with them to allow him to voice his opinion on camera, also attempted to contain the damage as Rashida's domain rocked. His attempts to change the narrative to suggest that the video was outdated, that it was shot years ago, or that Jasmine might have made it up to gain power were reportedly denied by the producers, who stated that they would not allow him to exercise authority in this way. Fans of Time demanded the unvarnished truth instead of another Kirk cover-up, but Jasmine was flourishing despite the chaos. For Sarah, this was more than just a difficult scenario. She reportedly began to receive offers for podcasts, interviews, and even club performances from those wanting to profit from the issue. It was a chance to be in the public eye once more. To make matters worse, more evidence started to surface on the internet. Screenshots of text messages purportedly showing Kirk setting up a meeting with Jasmine at the same house where the film was filmed were sent to a bogus acquaintance of Jasmine. For example, Kirk supposedly texted, "Don't tell nobody. She still thinks I'm done with you, but we know what it is," said another alleged text. "If she finds out, you know she'll kill me." It didn't really matter if the texts were authentic or not because fans trusted them. They saw Rashida as the lady who was continually broken, Jasmine as the ideal sidekick, and Kirk as a serial cheater. The harm had already been done. When it was revealed that Rashida and Kirk were seen filming Love and Hip Hop just days after the controversy, the tension reached a breaking point. Kirk apparently said that the filmmakers were attempting to ruin his life as he left. However, the cameras were still in motion at this point, recording every unvarnished, agonizing moment. According to witnesses, Rashida started crying in the middle of the scene and wouldn't go on, leaving the set in disarray. Supporters were certain that Rashida and Kirk's marriage would be permanently ruined by this tragedy. However, insiders implied that something much more significant was about to happen because of that anticipated longer video. The one that was meant to show Rashida interrupting Kirk and Jasmine, but it was around 2 and hadn't been released yet. Whisper claims that if the movie ever surfaced online, Rashida would be humiliated and her entire reputation, dignity, and brand would be ruined. In one case, supporters watched their feeds hourly and held their breath, wondering whether the worst was still to come. Since things would be different if Jasmine had the film and decided to make it public, Rashida had a gut feeling that the tragedy was far from ended. Although there was already a lot of pressure in Atlanta, the subsequent events made matters worse. Admirers believed the story couldn't get any worse when Jasmine decided to up the ante, playing coy with her admirers while sipping champagne and grinning at the camera late one evening when she went live on Instagram. In a matter of minutes, more than 30,000 people showed up, eager to hear what she had to say. "Are you upset or not?" she joked, spinning her glass. Before she revealed the information, the comments were full with demands, teasing, and affectionate emojis. Everyone saw that small clip, "Sweetheart," and that was only half of it. "Would you believe that I would only reveal one aspect to you and conceal the others?" The words "drop it" filled the screen as the audience erupted in response to her statements. "Please, I have more. A much more. We expose Jasmine and demand the entire film." Some even pleaded with her to sell the recording, promising money in return for evidence. Jasmine just chuckled while appearing to be in control of the entire internet. She edged closer to the camera and muttered, "I stepped in and saw everything firsthand." 3 on the internet, her remarks caused a firestorm. In a matter of minutes, hashtags like "a poor RAH day" and "Kirk Frostcaw" became popular. Yes, I did use a camera to record it. The worst part was that fans, bloggers, and gossip websites were unable to handle the deluge of response videos, memes, and debate. Insiders claim that after getting an anonymous text alerting her to Kirk's presence, Rashida realized the treachery in real time and stormed into the room when Kirk and Jasmine were together. Suspicious but not yet prepared to accept the worst, she reportedly drove to the scene that evening with a friend for support and discovered everything a wife might possibly worry about. While Jasmine, unconcerned and even mocking, allegedly watched Rashida reach the bedroom door and freeze in disbelief, her voice cracking as she cried Kirk's name, stared Rashida in the eye, and grinned, Kirk was apparently taken completely by surprise and attempted to cover himself with a sheet. Instead of Rashida's face, Jasmine's was visible in the short video that was first leaked. Because fans were appalled by the notion that Rashida's humiliation was captured on video, Leave effectively revealed that the lengthier version included this dramatic scene. One fan said, "It's not just cheating anymore," taking the narrative into a harsh area and suggesting that Jasmine would even take advantage of it for fun. Rashida is being tormented in public, which is unfair. Kirk reportedly went into full panic mode and called producers, publicists, and even his attorney to plead with Jasmine not to release the longer tape since he knew there would be no way to get his money back if the content was released online. Kirk's response was weak and desperate, even though some thought Jasmine had gone too far by supposedly storing film of Rashida's agony. She provided her fans vague clues since she relished the attention. The next drop will be available soon. Be careful. However, intimate friends disclosed that Rashida was in a downward spiral and that she was unable to stop thinking about the betrayal. "I can't stop replaying the betrayal in my head since the image of Kirk and Jasmine together. The sneer on Jasmine's face and Kirk's guilty look tormented her," she allegedly told a pal. "This man made me the biggest idiot in the world despite the fact that I gave him every opportunity. I'm done battling this, then." Their marriage was at the center of Rashida's entire reality TV plot. Her family was intertwined with Kirk's, and her companies were connected to him. According to reports, the producers encouraged her to continue filming since they anticipated great ratings from the affair. There are rumors that Mona Scott herself informed Rashida that this season might be her best yet, but at what price? Supporters of Rashida started banding together and pressuring her to finalize her divorce from Kirk. Memes that said, "Sis, get your things together and be a queen," gained popularity, and even famous people started to depart. Comments on X, formerly known as Twitter, a female rapper posted, "How many humiliations Kirk had to go through before she recognized her value is beyond me." For a while, not everyone agreed that Rashida deserved more. Citing previous recordings of her pardoning Kirk as evidence that she had approved of his actions, several trolls asserted that she was solely responsible for her actions. "She stayed after the adultery, the scorn, and the baby scandal, and now she's crying again," was one comment that went viral. "No, she made this decision." The drama was only intensified by the disparity in public perception.